Baba knows the way. For Joseph Baba Ifa, Baba knows the way. We follow the signs. He walks with the 𝘃𝗶𝗱𝗲 through sacred lines. He speaks with the ancients. He honors the drum. He carries the wisdom where we all come from.
Hey family, thank you for tuning in to Our Roots podcast with Joseph Baba Ifa. Where only the strongest roots see the light, brought to you by 𝘃𝗶𝗱𝗲 candles and more. And if you haven't had the opportunity, hit that subscribe button. Your favorite episode today, Phil?
Oh, I think I know why.
Today is Ifan cats, man. This is one dear to my heart. I'm a cat guy.
You know, I'm becoming a cat guy. I used to not like cats at all.
Yeah.
But then one of my roommates had three. She had three cats.
Oh, well, that's three. That's a lot.
And they all loved me.
Okay.
And I was like, oh.
You were accepted into the clan.
Yeah, you guys aren't bad.
No. Cats are righteous, man. They're definitely an acquired taste for some. I actually had a bad experience with dogs when I was a kid, so I never really fully trusted them unless I towered over them, I was, bigger than them to the point where they couldn't hurt me per se, but chihuahuas are deadly. But cats, really, I'm allergic to them, ironically. And little by little, that allergy kind of went away, or it really, sustained itself. But, shout out to my cat. I actually have a white Siberian, which we bought for our daughter. And, whenever you buy a pet for your kids, it eventually becomes yours. Yep. Because you're the one keeping him alive. No, but I'm in love with him. He's really wonderful. He's very friendly. And he's the most dog-like cat I've ever met. Yeah. Like, where most cats, like we had another cat named Lila, and Danny took her when he got his own place and stuff like that. So that was pretty traumatic for us, but she wasn't very nice. She was a bodega cat. She was, from the bread, or on top of the bread, as we like to say. So, in New York, in the bodegas, the cats, they'll sleep on the bread, or they'll take the bread, things like that. So it's a bodega cat, it's kind of belongs to the block. So she was one of those, and Erica rescued her, and, she's still kicking, man, 20 years later. It's really incredible, but she never really got domesticated. She still beats people up. But we love her, but, definitely, it's so wild. But it was that she behaved like a cat usually behaves. You know what I'm saying? Like, she would disappear. We didn't know if she was alive or not. She'd like come out at like 3 a.m, very overstimulated. But you would have to interact with her on her terms. Like, she'd lay on your chest, but as soon as you wanted to dominate the interaction, she'd smack you in the face and just like scamper off.
That's what my son is.
Oh God. And, but with Finley, our Siberian, he's a dog. Like, he comes up, he'll purr. Like, he purrs violently. Like, we think something's wrong with him sometimes. Like, he's just so emotional, and he just goes up to anybody and he'll just start vibrating. So the cats, they do that. They have like a voice box thing, and it comforts them. And I don't know. But he's really wonderful. If you're having a bad day, he's right there. So
I learned that cats only purr when they're around humans.
That would make sense. And I mean, this thing can't get petted enough. Like, he's just so odd, He's a big boy, too. He eats, man. He goes through it. He has a special food, y todo, you know what I'm saying? But I love him. He's just, when you got young kids and stuff like that, you can't indulge them as much as you like. But when Erica was actually, expecting Loli and things like that, that was my best friend, you know what I'm saying? Like, we were just hanging out, getting ready for the baby to get there. Really incredible thing about cats, they knew that she was pregnant both times.
Yeah.
They knew, man. Like, the cat would start acting weird. Like, the cat would go up to the stomach, lick the stomach, sniff the stomach. Like, if anybody would go near it, she'd swipe at them. She'd lay around the stomach like she was protecting it. It was the most beautiful thing, unless you were being, attacked. But yeah, they know, man. I don't know if they smell it. I don't know. Like, the dog was kind of like whoop-de-doo, but the cat really was aware. And the 2 times that it started acting like that, yeah, we were expecting a baby, so that was pretty wild.
Wow. Okay. There's a couple things that I want to know too.
Yeah, for sure.
And just we can talk about it later, just so I don't forget.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, we can kick off with them. I'm not gonna forget mine. Yeah.
Okay. So there's a cat it's a stray cat, right? And it comes to my window almost every night, my bedroom window, and then just starts purring at the window for hours.
Oh God.
Like, what's up with that?
I don't know, brother. I mean, you know, it's just, you know, you just have neighbors sometimes that don't know how to behave, right? No, but it could be that he's hungry. It could be spiritual, maybe. You know, cats really have been around humans since like the dawn, man. And we're gonna go into the creation myth. The cat was one of the first animals to ever walk Earth. So when 𝗹𝗶𝗸𝗶 was coming down from heaven, he came down with a couple things, and we touched on this in the video about 𝗿𝗶𝗸𝗶𝗍. The first thing he let down while he was hanging suspended from the chain over Earth was sand, right? So sand was there, and then he dropped the chameleon, and the chameleon tested out the Earth. That's why he walks in a very paused manner, you know, and cautiously. Once it was stable enough, 𝗹𝗶𝗸𝗶 let go of the hen. And the hen started doing what it does. It started scraping the dirt in all different directions, creating 30% land mass. And then after that, he came down with his best friend, the all-white cat, right? That was his companion. So 𝗹𝗶𝗸𝗶, I mean, the cat was the first pet on Earth. And it's ironic because everybody says man's best friend, dogs. Man's first best friend was the cat. You know, it was who kept 𝗹𝗶𝗸𝗶 company and things like that during his solitude, before he went through like his metamorphosis where he divided into 8 men and 8 women to procreate Earth. The cat was there, you know, and from the very dawn of Yoruba society, African society, the cat has always been sacred from a Yoruba standpoint. But if you look at like the Egyptians and what the cat represented to them, I think they had God, what is the name of the cat god over there? I think it's Bat or something like that. Boss, right? Or Basad or something like that. Forgive me to all the Kemet brothers and sisters out there. But they deified it immediately. And I mean, when you look at the cat being one of the people or one of the animals that actually helped end the plague bubonically, you know, the thing saved the world. You know, if we really don't think about those things. But in Egypt, they had the cats there for the rats and things like that. And that's actually in the 𝗿𝗲𝗿𝗲𝗍. We're going to get into that. But look at the ending of the bubonic plague, which was in the 𝗿𝗲𝗿𝗲𝗿𝗂𝗍, which we can get into as well. It's really a divine animal. I mean, the Egyptians looked at it as the guardian of the afterlife, you know, and who would be able to mitigate who would come back and forth between them. But yeah, from the very dawn of time, the cat has been present. I mean, when you look historically as well, I mean, when they show the first cat, I mean, we're looking at it as this beautiful snowball thing or a Siberian. It was really like a saber tooth. You know, when you look at the first cat, it was gargantuan, you know, at least the one on Earth. But the one that we're focusing on today, definitely is the house cat, right? And Milo. I always think about my cousin's cat, Milo. He was a Siamese. He was very, very temperamental. So, but you know, they're hit or miss. But you gotta love them. But it was really the first pet. So, you know, first Odu we can kick off with, man, and the one that comes to mind the most is 𝗿𝗏𝗍. So in the Odu of 𝗿𝗏𝗍 or 𝗿𝗏𝗍, it speaks of the cat. And there's multiple patakis about the cat in this Odu. And the first one speaks about the cat and how he would kind of take advantage of being 𝗿𝗏𝗍𝗏's son or 𝗿𝗏𝗍𝗏's pet, right? The word for cat in Yoruba, by the way, is olobo. And when we translate that, olobo or olobong means the owner of wisdom. That's why if you look at Babao Trupo Meji, which we'll touch on as well, it's known as Ologbong Meji, or the Ifa of the 2 cats, right? But olobo, because cats have always been seen as being a little more intelligent than canines, and not necessarily because they are, but the way they move is in a very wise fashion. They don't really run anywhere. They don't give you a lot of attention or affection. They make you work for everything. You know, it's seen as a more wise behavior, character, and conduct. So the cat here in 𝗿𝗏𝗍, he was a really risky guy. And, you know, he would do just nonsense. You know, he would jump off of buildings. He would basically commit suicide on a daily basis, unbewittedly. And, you know, he realized that he was coming up on his 9th life, because 𝗿𝗏𝗍𝗏 told him, I can only give you, you know, what I have. And 𝗿𝗏𝗍𝗏's number is 8. He's like, anything after that, bro, you're on your own. So he had just died like the 8th time, and, you know, 𝗿𝗏𝗍𝗏 resurrected him, and he's like, yo, I got to figure out what I'm doing, because it wasn't always his fault per se. He was always in like situations where he'd have to run from a dog, or he was being attacked, or any of these different things. So he went for divination, and Ifa told him to perform sacrifice of 𝗃𝗏, to have good character, to make sacrifice to 𝗿𝗶𝗸𝗲, in gratitude, to 𝘃𝗶𝗱𝗏 as well. And there's versions where, unfortunately he fell again, or he died again, and then he actually got resurrected by 𝗃𝗏𝗍𝗲 and things like that, where he actually became eternal.
How many lives is that now?
So that's the 9th one. That's the one he was actually able. So however that number's up or time's up, it ended up being the 9th life, which is the one that they're still on till this day. And 𝗿𝗶𝗸𝗲, based on the sacrifice and him starting to take life a little more seriously and realizing that he was being kind of oppressed and misunderstood, and actually having fulfilled his obligations with 𝗃𝗏𝗍𝗲, another blessing that he gave the cat was that the cat would always fall or land on his feet, right? All of this phenomenon manifested in the 𝗿𝗶𝗸𝗍𝗲. You could also say the 𝗿𝗶𝗸𝗍𝗶 as well, because the cat descended from heaven to earth on his paws, right? So that's why you notice no matter what, it has these reflexes or these instincts. The cat always lands paws down. So
yeah, I've always wondered that.
Yeah, that's in the 𝗿𝗶𝗸𝗍𝗲, where he performed a bow and things like that to become immortal. That's why cats, they survive and go through things that, other animals really can't. And when you actually study the animal and you look at how their spine is formed and, the cartilage in their joints and things like that, they're really built for survival, So in the 𝗿𝗶𝗸𝗍𝗲 as well, it speaks of 𝗃𝗏𝗍𝗲. And 𝗃𝗏𝗍𝗲 had a lot of enemies, and he would travel a lot and interact with a lot of different people. And because of it, he would pick up a lot of negative energy, or people would do witchcraft to him. And he was performing at bowl, and he was doing everything he could, but he really wasn't feeling the effects positively of all the work he was doing. He was like, there's something else that I need to incorporate that's going to benefit me. So he performed divination. 𝗃𝗏𝗍𝗲 was revealed, 𝗃𝗏𝗍𝗲, and Ifa told him to perform sacrifice and to leave the ebo at 4 corners or by the front door, what have you. And when he did, a cat came up and actually started eating the food. And 𝗃𝗏𝗍𝗲 looked and said, dude, please don't eat my ebo. Like, I need this, And but he couldn't bring himself to shoo the cat away, because he could see that, he was hungry. So the cat started eating the ebo and the things that were in it. And when the cat, kind of rejuvenated and felt a little better, he looked at 𝗃𝗏𝗍𝗲 and he started rubbing up against 𝗃𝗏𝗏. When cats kind of rub up against the leg and their hair stand up and all these different things, he started doing that to 𝗃𝗏𝗏. And 𝗃𝗏𝗏 initially was like, rabies, But he started feeling really great. He started feeling much better. And he was like, maybe there's something to this, bro. So he started feeding the cat every day at the door, and he started noticing every time the cat would rub up on him, he would feel fine. Like, he'd wake up a little messed up, the cat would rub on him, and he was righteous. So he said, I think this cat is cleansing me, And from that day forward, he let the cat in the house, and he said, you can stay, man. You just keep doing your thing. So in 𝗃𝗏𝗍𝗲, which is ironically the Odu of the Egyptians and the mummification process and the canopic jars and the Book of the Dead and all these different things, speaks of when the cat made its way into the home, right? The same way the Egyptians would let the cats roam freely because of all the benefits they would provide. The same way it was in Egypt, just like it was the same way in New York. Like, you need a cat, bro. We got rodents.
Yeah, for real.
So, you got to have those things.
The rats there are big as the dogs.
Yeah, well, there's actually, not to get too sidetracked, and, forgive me, sometimes you just react when you see something. There's these dogs that are being breeded in Great Britain for rat infestation. Oh, and I mean, what they do to the rat is terrifying, bro. We'll leave it at that. But when I first saw it, I was like, man, the poor rat, he's done for. And I'm talking about, like, they're going through whole warehouses and cleaning them out in one day, hundreds.
Jeez.
Yeah, they're putting in that work. Anywho, but yeah, that's where the rat made it into the home. So if ever you're somewhere and a cat tries to give you love or affection and things like that, the cat is actually recognizing that you have some spiritual disalignment, and through the static in its skin and its hairs, when a cat kind of stands on an edge and gets goosebumps, it's actually trying to help you and save you. So be nice to cats, be nice to animals in general. I know it's hard sometimes, it can be a little annoying, God bless them, we love them. but cats especially. So every time, sometimes I'll be overstimulated. I'll be like, get away. But when he tries to give me a lot of love, I let him do it because I'm like, man, I'm probably getting hit up right now and he's saving my life. So that's why if you look, my grandmother always had that concept. She was like, animales hay que ver en la casa. She always had animals in the house. And I'd be like, Mama, like, why? She's like, they're saving our life. And I'll never forget when my grandmother passed away, her dog passed away like 2 weeks before then. Oh. And her dog was like 17, 18 years old, and he died right before she did. So I remember when that happened, I kind of looked, I was like, wow, so I'm always I pay attention to my pets, you know what I'm saying? But that's 𝘃𝗶𝗱𝗲. Speaks very heavily of it. It's where the cat became a god, all these different things. It's really beautiful. There's another Odu known as 𝗃𝗶𝗿𝗃 or 𝗃𝗶𝗿𝗃. And it speaks of two brothers who were cats, right? And they went for divination, where one of them came with the Odu of Obeyono or Obeogunda. And that cat was told to perform sacrifice to be able to become a deity, right? Or to live eternally. And he did it. But then the other brother, 𝗃𝗶𝗿𝗃, was told to perform sacrifice to not have mortality, right? And he chose not to do it because he's like, I'm a divine cat. What jeopardy is there? But Olodumare actually called both of them forth to perform a mission for him on Earth. And they both accepted. But they received one piece of advice synonymously from Orunmila each time that they went to get read. And he said, do not get distracted and come back as quickly as you can so you don't get left out of heaven. So they were like, yeah, sure. What's going to distract us, Because they were, the most efficient agents that Olodumare had. So they went down there. They did their thing. It doesn't really specify what the mission was. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe the plague. I don't know. Even though Waniala Quinto says it. But it was time for them to go back now. Successful mission accomplished. Let's go home. But 𝘃𝗶𝗿𝗄, feeling insulted that 𝗃𝗶𝗿𝗃 didn't perform the sacrifice, said, I'm going to test his character to see if he deserves eternity. So 𝘃𝗶𝗿, on the way to the tunnel back to heaven, left a piece of something shiny. And Obeyono was ready to go home, but 𝗃𝗶𝗿𝗃 got sidetracked and saw it. And he kept staring at it and playing with it and looking at it. And Obeyono said, Oye, bro, we got to go. The gates of heaven are about to close and hay que irnos, we got to go. And he wouldn't say anything. 𝗃𝗶𝗿𝗃 was like, no, it's okay. 5 more minutes. And so Obeyono said, I'm going to leave you. He was like, and he started getting irate. And Obeyono said, I'll see you around. And he went back to heaven. But when 𝗃𝗶𝗿𝗃 snapped out of it, and he looked towards the tunnel was closed. And when he looked up at heaven, he saw Orula, his brother, Olodumare, and he saw 𝘃𝗶𝗿 laughing. And when he looked back, the thing that he was looking at actually had penetrated his eye. So the material was gold. So that's why if you look in a cat's eyes, they look shiny, right? Or that's why if you take something shiny and shake it in front of a cat, what does it do? It follows it. It gets hypnotized by it, right? So in 𝗃𝗶𝗿𝗃 is where the cat became obsessed with shiny things. And because of it, it ended up being a distraction because, if you ever wanted to hurt a cat, you could distract it with something like that, where the other brother realized like, hey, I don't need that. 𝗃𝗶𝗿𝗃, which is seen as a much more materialistic sign. It's also an Odu that speaks a lot about, theft and things like that. He was the brother that was, ready to steal. So it ended up costing him his eternity. It ended up costing him his divine right. So interesting story there, because when you look at a cat, anytime it sees something shiny, it's almost like it's inexplicable. It completely takes their attention off of anything else, and that becomes their focus. So definitely interesting pataki there.
Do you have one about how they always say the cats have a closer spiritual connection than dogs do? Because
spiritual in what regard?
Like they can see the spirits.
Yeah. So in the Odu of 𝗃𝗏𝗍𝗍, Baba 𝗃𝗏𝗍𝗍, I'm going to throw this one out here, even though, because Baba 𝗃𝗏𝗍𝗍, well, we already did that one. And I read this pataki after we recorded that video. This is in the Afolabi, by the way, And there's a pataki there that speaks of when the 𝗃𝗻𝗍 wanted to consume the cat. And the cat realized, or 𝗹𝗶𝗸𝗲𝗲, the priest, the cat, realized, you know, we got a serious issue here because I really don't want to deal with these ladies like that. And he went running to Orunmila. So 𝗃𝗻𝗍 was revealed. He performed at Bo, and he ended up actually encrusting some things in his face to give him the illusion, or to actually manifest 2 more eyes. So when the 𝗃𝗻𝗍 came to attack him, when they saw his appearance, they became terrified of him because they realized he was like them. Because, you know, they have this this concept that the 𝗃𝗻𝗍, when they manifest, they have multiple eyes, right? Like, it's pretty terrifying. So when they realized that he had that same concept, or that same trait, they needed to bring him in. So Olobo actually became the first Osho, or warlock, of the 𝗃𝗻𝗍 clan. So within the 𝗃𝗻𝗍, there's a very specific position known as Osho that manifests and functions there to be able to perform the functions that a woman cannot. So he comes in, does his job. They might kick him out. They might leave him. I don't know. I've never been in that room. Probably never will be. But 𝗃𝗻𝗍 speaks of why the cat is one of the only things that the 𝗃𝗻𝗍 does not eat. He actually belongs to them, and they actually fear him. So when you talk about spiritual sight, it says in 𝗃𝗻𝗍 the cat had 4 eyes, 2 for the material world and 2 for the spiritual world.
Oh,
so that's a pretty banging pataki. When I read it, I said highlighter.
that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. But the 𝗃𝗻𝗍, and what are witches always by? Cats.
Cats.
They always have a cat. Like, even in popular culture, if you ever see a witch or an 𝗃𝗍, she always has a cat. Always had a black cat, right? 𝗿𝗶𝗸𝗲's cat was the holy one. It was the white one. The one, and it's not that black is evil, because there's a lot of holy things within Ifa that are black. But the black cat there was the witch's cat. And if you look, have you ever seen a black cat's eyes?
Mm-hmm.
It looks like he's got 4 of them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It looks, when you look at him, you're like, what's going on there? You know, you see the green, you see the black. Like, his pupils are jet black. So, you know, it says that they have a vision and they have a sense that we don't have. And honestly, if you want any proof for anything paranormal, all you have to do is look at animals. Hey, family, this is Joseph Baba Ifa. Are you looking for a space to host your next event, a wedding, a baby shower, something memorable? Well, we want you to consider one of our sponsors, Luna Hall and Studio, a beautiful event space located in downtown Orlando that has some great visuals for you to create all of those memories. Please be sure to check in the description for the link to know what our daily rates look like, or even 3 days at a time. Thank you very much, and we hope to see you there soon. You know, I always pay attention to how the animals move in the house, and if they're acting sketchy or whatever, I'm like, all right, we're getting tapped up right now. Here we go. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's time to pick up the chain and see what needs to be done. But you have to pay attention to nature and things like that. But that's actually the spiritual side of the cat is in Baba 𝗃𝗻𝗍. And the really incredible thing is once again, another example of why we could all benefit from each other as far as traditions, as 𝘃𝗶𝗱𝗏 and 𝘃𝗶𝗚. That story is in 𝘃𝗶𝗱, but look at the other story that's in Baba 𝗃𝗻𝗍 about the cat, where the cat was mistreated, and 𝗃𝗲𝗹𝗁 and 𝗿𝗶𝗸𝗲 blessed him with the white cloth, the white cat, 𝗹𝗶𝗸𝗲, you know, the priest of the cat. The cat has always been seen as a babalao. That's also in the 𝗃𝗶𝗱𝗏𝗏, you know, where the cat was a priest, you know, and he's always been seen as divine across pretty much all cultures. I mean, they are sacred animals. I mean, if you even look at Baba 𝗃𝗶𝗱𝗏, it says, he who knows the blood of the leopard will see his own soul, or know his own soul. So these are sacred things that, you know, we really shouldn't be, you know, trying to attack or utilize in that regard, because, you know, I've seen videos and I'm not a fan of them at all. Like, I saw a video one time of somebody offering a tiger to their Shango.
Whoa.
And when you look at what 𝗃𝗶𝗱𝗲 says, it's like that's completely incoherent spiritually. You know, the energies that be don't appreciate that. There's so many other things we can offer, a bull, a ram, any of the other things that, you know, they actually enjoy. But if Shango is the manifestation on earth of the tiger, why would we sacrifice that same thing to the energy? Remember that when we perform a sacrificial process, we don't offer the animal that represents that deity. We offer the animal that that deity defeated and overcame to get a result. So, for example, if Shango is the leopard or the tiger, we don't sacrifice him those animals. We sacrifice him the ram, who was his enemy that he defeated. Or in the case of Ochun, we don't sacrifice a vulture to Ochun. I wouldn't even dare sacrifice a peacock. There's people, I don't. You know, everything's on a case by case, but really Ochun is the vulture. There's no paperwork anywhere where someone should sacrifice a vulture to Ochun. Who do we sacrifice it? The two hens from 𝗿𝗶𝗸𝗲 who were disrespectful and they got ate up, right? And so on and so forth, you know. But with the cat, you know, they're blessed and sacred animals, right? There's an interesting story as well in the 𝗿𝗲𝗹𝗁 𝗿𝗏𝗿. The story, I forget what it is. What's it called? I don't know if it's the Pied Piper or whatever it was, but you know the story where the guy started playing the flute.
Yeah, that's Pied Piper.
Is it where the rats came out and then the cats came out and then they were able to get rid of the plague and stuff like that?
Yep.
That's in the 𝗿𝗲𝗹𝗁 𝗿𝗏𝗿, which is the 𝗃𝗏𝗃𝗃 𝗃𝗏𝗿. When you read it in the book, though, it says that the guy picked up the flute and he was able to summon 𝗃cie𝗂𝗂𝗃, who was the director of 𝗃𝗲𝗿, right? But in, you know, real life terms, it was actually where he was able to play the flute to summon the cat to be able to eat all the rats, right? So that's in 𝗃𝗏𝗿𝗏𝗿. When you look at the 𝗃𝗏𝗹𝗁𝗿, all right, or 𝗃𝗏𝗹𝗁, it speaks of a concept known as 𝗃𝗶𝗱𝗏𝗿, right? 𝗃𝗶𝗱𝗁𝗿, and the second Ofun, or the 𝗃𝗏 Ofun, is where you found the cat. And he was known as the son of the devil, right? And the cat, you know, in the 𝗃𝗏𝗹𝗁𝗿 actually manifested some of his negative behaviors. You know, when you see an angry cat on Instagram, you know, rabies, any of these different things, the aggressiveness, the sheer terror that they invoke, because it's kind of sad. We as human beings don't have the natural defenses to even protect ourselves from a house cat. You know, you could have a huge brolic guy, you know, benches 600, put him in a cage with a cat and see how he does. You know, there's no way. You can't even grab the things. They're going to bite you. They're going to scratch you. It's just horrible. But in 𝗃𝗶𝗱𝗁𝗿 is where all these behaviors first manifested, where, you know, he was causing a lot of havoc and a lot of terror amongst the villagers and things like that, to where his father, Oragung, had to have a talk with him and say, hey, we're not perfect people. We're not likable people. We don't necessarily do the right thing, but there has to be a balance as well. You can't be so bad that no one wants you, because you're going to go hungry. And the cat was like, I am going hungry. So he was like, you know, behave, get what you need out of people, and, you know, just keep it moving. I'm not saying be perfect, but be productive. And in that sign was where the cat toned down its behavior to be able to manipulate us into feeding him and keeping him alive. So that's where you see kind of the negative aspect of the cat, or where it becomes overstimulated, the skin and all those different things. You know, it's too much for them. So that's there. And then when you look at the 𝗃𝗏𝗿𝗏𝗃𝗏𝗃𝗏, it speaks of the bubonic plague. It speaks of when, you know, sacrifice wasn't performed, and because of it, the rats made their way onto these ships, you know, and they started, you know, eating the food, infecting people, you know, excrement, all these different things. And, you know, a huge portion of the world's population is being lost. Divination is performed. 𝗃𝗏𝗿𝗄𝗏 was revealed, where it said, once again, they needed to make sacrifice. And when they did, the cat consumed it again, and he came into the house, started killing the rats and ending the plague. So once again, yay the cat. The cat literally saved us all over again. So it's definitely an 𝗃𝗏𝗿𝗏 that speaks of the benefit of having this animal around and whatnot. Even if, you know, you don't own one. And you have to be very careful, because you have feral cat colonies and things like that. But if you're ever in a situation where you're able to, you know, help one or feed one without it finding its way back to your window every night, right? And,
I haven't fed it, man.
I know that's even wilder that he still comes back. He just wants to be your friend, Phil.
I know.
What color is he?
It is a white and orange.
Oh, he's like calico.
Yeah, it's a little kitten too.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want to take him, but Lucia would be like, no.
yeah. No, but if you could, just break him off something, maybe on the corner. He'll wait for you on the corner instead of going to the window and stuff like that.
Yeah, sometimes he likes to sit underneath my car too.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. You gotta be nice to him and stuff like that. But they literally saved the world all over again. So the cats actually ended the bubonic plague.
And so, do they not get the plague too? Like, did it not transfer over to cats? Because this was like a true story.
Yeah,
so,
for
like,
real.
How do they not get sick? You know what I'm saying?
I haven't studied that much, dog.
Because some pathogens can't transfer from
I would
different
imagine
species.
stuff like there's stuff that just doesn't transfer and whatnot. But it's pretty wild, man. Like, and this is throughout history. Like, they've literally ended a bunch of them. Like in the 𝗿𝗲𝗿𝗲𝗃, once again, a song, right? 𝗃𝗶𝗱𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 𝗃𝗶𝗸𝗲𝗃 means 𝘃𝗶𝗱𝗲, the rat. 𝗃𝗶𝗸𝗲𝗃, we're going to kill your body when we see you. 𝗃𝗶𝗸𝗲𝗃, the cat is in the house. So in this Odu, it speaks of when the cat and the mouse, or Tom and Jerry, were friends, right? So they lived together. Everything was chilling. Orunmila had told the cat, don't let the rat live with you. Don't let nobody live with you. The cat was like, that's my guy. You know, and they were roommates and everything was fine. But one night, you know, the cat started feeling off and he's like, what's going on? And they say that he showed up home early from work one time and the rat had a infestation going on in his house. It was a real it was a party. You know, he was having a fandango, as it's known a lo cubano. And the cat became furious. He became furious. And he started killing all of them, even his friend, everybody. And they were like, no, it's not what you think. He was like, the hell with that. And he started just yapping all of them, man. And it was to the point where, you know, they all left the house and they ran. Some people say the rats went to a whole nother land. But since that day, rats and cats can't live together. They're natural enemies because the rat betrayed the cat. So once again, it's an Odu that speaks of, you know, once again, something naturally occurring in nature and being able to corroborate it with this information. But it's to the point where a rat won't even go in an area where it smells cat. Like if it gets a whiff and it's just so naturally ingrained in them from an evolutionary standpoint, they won't even go there. That's why, you know, in New York, you see cats and, you know, you see them all the time. Like people have them in their apartment and stuff like that just to avoid things altogether. You know, they don't have the same effect on roaches, but they'll probably kill some of those too, you know? Yeah, in Miami, the same thing. So,
can I tell you a little story real quick?
Please.
I know this probably has nothing to do with anything, but
oh yeah, it all relates.
I used to work overnight. I did it for like 10 years.
Jeez, man,
right?
thank you.
And I would drive. Right, I remember I was doing one of my deliveries. I deliver specimens to the labs at night and the hospitals at night.
Yeah.
And I pull up in the parking lot. It's maybe 3 o'clock in the morning, and I see a fight. You think that Godzilla versus King Kong was a fight? Like, no. This fight I saw, it was a cat versus a raccoon.
Yeah, they're not playing, dog.
And I had to stay in my car until it like blew over, because this was epic beyond epic.
That was gangster, yeah.
I don't have it on my phone, but this is before TikTok and everything. The cat one.
I
This is
not
before,
playing, man.
I'm recording myself doing commentary like the WWE commentators. I wish I have to find that video somewhere, but it's before social media stuff. But yeah, anyway.
You want to laugh, man? My sons, sometimes they go to the Bronx to visit family and stuff like that. And there's a neighborhood cat. His name is Titano, which means Titan.
Yeah.
And Titano has like a bunch of double lives, man. He has a bunch of families. Like he has a family over here. He has another family over here. He has a bunch of kids in the neighborhood. Dude is just a neighborhood legend, bro. He's a whole poppy, you know. He's just out of control. But yeah, man, you see some things, man. They're not playing. They're not playing at all. Shout out to Titano. I don't know if he's still alive.
So what about the cats that aren't domesticated? So like, let's say like jungle cats, like
the feral.
Yeah. What about those?
You know, as far as domestication, I mean, when you look at the pataki of 𝘃𝗶𝗱𝗃𝗶𝗃, it says cats are never really domesticated.
They domesticate you.
They domesticate us. They actually, ironically, when you bring them into a space, they think that they're the alpha. We are their pets. We're there to serve them. You all of those different things. So that's pretty hilarious with them, because that's really what they're thinking the whole time. And, when you look at, for example, when you look at how the Yoruba view of them is, their name is literally 𝗿𝗲𝗿𝗲, which means owner of wisdom. Like they're so much smarter than everybody, and they're so above everything. You kind of see it reflected in their character. Like in the Odu about 𝗿𝗲𝗿𝗁 or 𝗿𝗲𝗿𝗁, it speaks of the two cats, right, or the two brothers who ended up becoming enemies or were at war. And one of them was the leopard, right, and one of them was the house cat, or 𝗿𝗏𝗏, and the leopard is known as 𝗃𝗏𝗿. But the leopard was very jealous of his brother, because even though the leopard was really, in reality, one of the apex predators of the jungle, king of the jungle to a certain degree, no one would pet him, no one would feed him, no one would show him any love or anything like that. They feared him. So this was very frustrating for him, because even though he was, king of the hill, his brother, was loved, was really, accepted and welcome and all these different things. Hey family, it's Joseph Baba Ifa here. How's your car looking lately? Do you want to open the door when you take the kids to school? Are you a little embarrassed to let anybody sit in there? I think it's time to get it detailed. And if you're going to do that, you got to call my guys Twin Precision Mobile Detailing. Professional, punctual, pristine. These guys are going to make your car look real good. So be sure to check them out, because they are Baba approved. Thank you, family. And, he decided, I'm going to kill him. So they were both babalaos. They were both priests. And someone had just passed away in the jungle. And they actually had invited 𝗿𝗏𝗏𝗏 to come and direct the itutu rites, or the funeral rites. Everyone was afraid of the leopard, so they were going along with the plan to basically ambush the cat or lure him so that his brother could do the deed. 𝗿𝗏𝗏𝗏 was a pretty smart guy, so he went for divination. 𝗃𝗶𝗱𝗁 was revealed, where Ifa told him to not go. And the cat was like, I gotta go, but tell me how to maneuver. He said, don't go in the house where the itutu's happening. Handle the function from the outside. And he was like, okay. So when he got there, everybody was, receiving him and things like that. And he was like, okay, I'll get started out here. When they bring out whatever, I'll do everything out here. I don't have to go in the house. And they were like, no, go inside. We have a banquet ready for you, or we want to receive you, all these different things. And he was like, no, it's quite all right. I'll do it right from here. They were like, no, they were insisting, and this, that, and the third. And the cat started realizing something's a little off here. And then when he said, I'm not going out, he started hearing a growl. He started seeing like a shadow inside of the house. He got a little curious, this, that, and the third. And then the leopard pounced out. But luckily he was far enough to where he was able to escape. And he never went back there. So, this is one of the Odus where curiosity almost killed the cat. This Odu, explains why cats have this innate thing where it's like, what was that? And they'll go back, or they have to see things for themselves or follow things through, explaining that natural phenomenon within them. But, it's really ironic, because we did a video on the leopard. We really don't have enough information to go off about the lion. Maybe I'll do a bonus pataki at the end of this one to kind of go over that.
Trivia question for everybody here in the chat. Yeah. What's bigger, a tiger or a lion?
Tiger, dog. Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't supposed to answer.
But you answered it, but you're right.
It's about 300-400 pounds bigger, especially if it's a Siberian.
Yeah,
that's in 𝗃𝗏𝗿𝗁, where the tiger, they had to kick him out of Africa because he was far too aggressive and far too big. The lion and the leopard and the cheetah and the wild cat, were like, yo, we can't with this guy, dog. So that's when the tectonic plate movement happened, and he was on the wrong side of the line. The same thing with the jaguar. In South America, you see, the tiger over there in India, Siberia, and then all the other big cats stayed in Africa. They say because they performed ebo, and the jaguar and the tiger didn't in 𝗃𝗏𝗿𝗁. That's why they ended up, on other continents and things like that. That's also in the Odu of 𝘃𝗶𝗱𝗏. But yeah, the tiger was the only one who could support the scars, because when you look at the leopard got burned, in the Odu of 𝗃𝗏𝗿𝗁. It really wasn't something that he chose per se, other than being naive. the tiger actually wanted the stripes, and he was willing to get him whatever it took. And it came from other tigers scratching him and the scars hardening into marks. So he was a problem. He was a complete problem. And then you look at a jaguar. A jaguar is jumping into the river and hunting a caiman and pulling him out. Like,
I've seen those videos.
yeah, bro. Yeah, no.
Did you're younger than me, so I don't know if you remember this, but do you remember zoo books?
Zoo books?
Yeah.
It sounds familiar. I've been to enough book fairs.
They used to have them in school. They used to be infomercials that were awesome. So
Yeah.
I know like these like obscure facts about like tigers and stuff. I know that like the tiger's bite force is like double that of like a lion. It's like it's like 1,000 psi.
Oh yeah,
which is insane.
Saying put that in a tire.
Yeah, when you just think about it. And so I always wondered like, how did the tiger get his stripes? I think you said that already, but like,
In 𝗃𝗶𝗹𝗁𝗍, in 𝗃𝗶𝗹𝗁𝗍, where the little tiger was born without the marks and all the older ones had it. He's like, I want my stripes. His father was like, hey, take it easy. But his uncles and everybody started hearing, and he was like, you sure? He said, I'm ready. But when they pulled basically a roots and they kidnapped him and they took him into the jungle and they started jumping him in and beating the hell out of him, the next day he was all cut up. And little by little, he healed. And when he came out of the jungle, they recognized him and applauded him. But he went up to his father and he said, I wasn't ready. He's like, nobody ever is. So if you look at our ceremonial process in the 𝘃𝗶𝗿𝗄𝗎 Ifa, where we hit the 𝗃𝗏𝗍 on the last day with the sticks, that's what that represents. You're becoming a tiger. You're becoming one of us. Welcome, brother. So it's, now mind you, it's not meant to be abusive. For anybody watching this, I've seen some really horrible footage in some of those ceremonies. It's really sad that there's so many frustrated brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember I saw a video. It was really horrible, man. I tell you, I'd lose it. You know what I'm saying? If my son or anybody, even in the ceremony I was directing, that would never occur. If I was working it, none of that would occur in front of me. But you see this little kid going through his 𝘃𝗍𝗍𝗲 process, and you see these grown men really giving it to him. I actually heard, I don't know how legitimate or, authentic the information was, that the young man actually transitioned from the infection.
No.
They beat him so bad he got an infection and he died.
No.
So, that's not ceremony. That's not who we are. But, with every fraternity, we got a little bit of everything in here, man. You got good men, you got bad men, and everything in between. So, Ifa is from the inside out for sure. But that's where that comes from. And, the cats don't like water. That's in 𝗃𝗏𝗍𝗲, where the rats swam away to get away from the cats. And the cats were like, whatever. You got to come back. But, as a bonus pataki, in the 𝗃𝗏𝗍𝗶𝗍, it speaks of the lion. The lion was a really calm guy. And, people were really jealous of him. The 𝗃𝗏𝗍𝗶𝗍 states that the lion actually belongs to Oshun, right? Where the tiger belongs to Shango. And if you look at him, he's golden and, he's furry and, Madagascar. And, they wanted to get him out of his character. They really wanted to make him look bad in front of Olodumare because they were jealous of him because he was the king of the jungle. So he went to visit Orunmila. Ifa told him to perform ebo of 𝗃𝗶𝗱𝗲. He said, all right, I'll do my best. These people are really starting to tick me off, but whatever. So one day they took him through the roof and he roared and he slashed at him and he started bugging out. And then they turned around and they were like, look, see, he was a monster this whole time. So, he went to Orula and said, sorry, I failed you, but, I never want to interact with them again. So, and that story is why the lion lives in the jungle and man lives in the village, and that's really, 𝗃𝗏𝗍𝗶 is the division between animals and human beings. Why we don't interact no more, because we betrayed them. Like when you look at all of the patakis, like that one in 𝗃𝗏𝗍𝗶, no 𝗃𝗏𝗍𝗶 was where we started killing the animals and they stopped talking to us. 𝗃𝗏𝗍𝗶, man became the king of beasts through betrayal. Like, I tell you, when you look at our interaction with nature, we have so much room to improve upon, but then again, you also have survival. We got to eat, but, it's all about ethics and, not overdoing it. You know what I'm saying? So, but the cat, he's the only one that knows where it's at because he's the only cat, right? How's it go? You got the aristocrats. You got O'Malley.
I don't remember the aristocrats.
Aristocrats was a good movie, man. But the cat, man, really sacred. One of my favorite animals. Got a bunch of information on it. Good stuff. There's even a verse for him in Osame'i as well. It's pretty similar to the Owanime'i one.
Would you ever be around a tiger? Like,
would I ever be around a tiger?
You know how some of our brothers across the pond they live with them.
Absolutely not.
Would you ever be around one?
Ever.
No?
Ever. Especially in my sign, and my sign was where the leopard betrayed the snake. I don't really have those. I don't know, dog. Like I don't know. I'm a Hylian, bro. I'm sorry.
Did you ever watch? You used to watch wrestling. You know who Rey Mysterio is.
Of course, dog. Yeah.
So this never happened, but it was going to happen. They were going to bring out a tiger.
Jesus.
During his entrance.
Eso es locura.
Right. And when the trainer and stuff were doing the testing, Rey Mysterio didn't have his mask on. Right. So he was interacting with the lion fine. Mm-hmm. But then when it was time to go, he put his mask on and he was about to come out and the lion almost attacked him.
Yeah. Well, in India, they actually wear masks on the back of the head because usually when a lion attacks is when you're not looking. So as long as you have something that looks like a face or it has eyes, it'll usually just stay really tense. Like a lion, I think a tiger can stay tense for like 12 hours, bro.
For real?
Yeah, like in complete lactic acid mode and pounce at any given moment. I would never be around something like that. I have nightmares about that, doc. No. Look at Sigmund Freud, bro. What is it? I'm not the psychologist. Forgive me. It was Sigmund Freud, right? He was mauled by a tiger.
No.
What are the guys that were in Las Vegas that one of them got murked?
I can't.
Freud.
No, it was. Hold on. People, the comments are probably on fire.
I don't know,
now.
dog. That does nothing for me, bro. Like
Hold on.
I don't know. I think at that stage, people are a little too out of touch, you know. Shout out to Mike Tyson.
Siegfried and Roy.
Yeah. But Sigmund Freud también, a lo mejor, he was around one. I don't know. But then you hear stories of Mike. Mike had a tiger on the property.
Yeah.
And I think Mike used to go down there and punch the tiger in the face or whatever. He used to beat up the tiger before a fight.
Yeah.
You know, he's a man's man. No, we don't advocate for any abuse. But, nah, that does nothing for me, dog. Like when I look over there in the Middle East where they got the tiger in the pool, in
the bedroom,
dog. Nah, dog. Nothing. I'm still in touch with reality. I don't know, and I respect everybody's opinion and things like that, but things like that do nothing for me. Like in the neighborhood, we really don't have time for those kind of aspirations. You know, I don't even like going to the zoo, to be honest with you. You see so many accidents and things like look at Harambe and the tiger and todo eso. National Geographic is more than good enough for me. I mean. Those are things like when you look at our literature, they don't want nothing to do with us. They just want to eat us and that's it. Like, you look at some people, respect, but, it's an animal. This, that, and the third. Yes, it is, but it is a deadly, deadly thing. All it has is instincts. It doesn't have anything else. You are food. Like, look at the guys in Las Vegas, the ones you just mentioned. They were around that cat for like 20 years. Something crazy, bro.
Siegfried and Roy.
And dog ate them up.
All right, last question before
yes, sir.
we head to the shout outs here.
Yes, sir.
All right, you're locked in a mall.
Oh God.
You have to survive for 24 hours. Which animal would you have to choose to be locked in there with? A silverback gorilla, a tiger, a lion, or a king cobra?
Dog, the cobra, dog.
Yeah?
Hell yeah, man. He'll stay over there. I'll stay over here. Oh, no. Because even I was thinking the gorilla, maybe. No. I'll do the snake all day. And I'm eat at the 𝘃𝗶𝗱𝗲, the snake charmers. I'll figure it out. No. I'll just stay away. But the other ones, no way, man. Forget about it, bro. Those things are deadly, man. They're to be respected. They're gods for a reason. They're meant to be alone and doing their own thing, man. It's not a joke. So stay away from big cats of prey and random primates that weigh over 400 or 500 pounds.
All right. Well, guess what time it is?
It's that time. Oh, that's awesome.
All right. It's that time, folks. Time to show some love to people who show love to you. If you do me a favor, click on that button under this video if you have not joined our membership program yet. It gives you access to so much more, man. You get discounts on merch, extra shows, podcast episodes just for you, live videos, you name it. All right. We should make a cat tee, a tee that has like a cat on it.
Oh, yeah?
That says Joseph Baba Meow.
Joseph Baba Meow. That's awesome.
Anyway, this shout out, we're shouting out the VIPs, the VIPs, the top of the top, cream of the crop.
Top tier.
All right, we got Purpose Driven.
Okay.
We got Alyssa Statler.
Thank you.
Crown McQueen.
Respect.
All right, we got Damian Cheatham.
Big ups.
We got Ogun. Wait, where'd he go? It refreshed. Hold on.
Oh, man. I think that was Ogunbi.
Okay, Ogun B.
Boru.
We got Alex Ruiz.
Boru.
We got Bunny.
Ashe.
We got Kathy.
What's up? Oh, bendiciones.
Yeah, and we got Kid Glide.
Oh man, shout out to my godson Kid, man. What's going on? Guys, @botanicacandlesandmore.com is up and running for all your service and product needs.
Sorry, I have to.
Oh, I know, you're horrible. Botanica Candles and More is up and running for all your product and service needs. We ship. Catch us on any of the major apps or platforms to listen to our podcast rather than YouTube. You know, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio.
It's a good gym sesh, because I restarted going to the gym and podcast or
Oh sure. I was like, where are we going with that one, Phil? You lost me.
No, like you put it in and put it on. Listen to these episodes. You'll learn something, and while you're getting your workout.
That's awesome, Phil. That means the world that you can make it through another 45 minutes of my voice. That's how you really care, man.
Dude, you should read audiobooks. Would y'all like to hear audiobooks from Joseph? I think
God, as the narrator?
That. Yeah, dude.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I think you should, man.
Well, what happens when I say water instead of water?
Or we should write Ifa books, like with the stories, like, and you read them, like you read the stories, but in detail, and we make books out of them.
Would you guys like that? The Ifa Nursery, pataki thing? I think that'd be cool, man. We got to see what's good with the animation and stuff like that. I know some people have reached out about that, but if you're interested in animating, one of our episodes, please let us know. And guys, we really appreciate you. Hit the subscribe button. Let somebody know about the channel and membership program. And until next time, see the light.
Baba Joseph showed the path today. Baba knows the way, we follow the signs. He walks with the Orisha.